Devil Dog right now. You ruined my life, Devil Dog.
That's so real. And then it's so crazy. When y'all left, we got smacked by boys and girls again by 20. My sophomore year. And then the junior year, we had enough. That was it. That was it. I'm going to say a few names real quick before we move on. Eric E.J. Martin.
Wait.
Dwayne Shake Martin, FDR.
Yeah, I'm saying
it should have been Johnson, Eric E.J. Johnson.
That was
but they put
Johnson.
Eric E.J. Martin.
Okay, Eric Johnson was Vinnie Johnson from the Detroit Pistons. Microwave. That was his little brother. He looked just like Vinnie Johnson.
Exactly like him.
Tough to the hole. He was tough. And shout out my man Shake. That is my dude forever, Shake Dwayne Martin. Y'all know him as the actor Dwayne Martin. We know him as Shake. Shout out to him always. That's my dude. I got a long story with him, but it's too long right now to even get into. But I got a funny story.
No. The Dwayne is definitely a class act. Then you got Spice Kilpatrick and Mike Waltman from Lincoln.
Mike Waltman was he was the power forward. My junior year, he was the power forward when I was like the center, but he was 6'4". He was built like a football player. Strong. Great rebounder. I think he led the team in rebounding that year. Shout out to Mike Waltman. I haven't seen him since high school. Wow.
Yeah, he made all Brooklyn. I was just surprised to see his name. He was the last person on the list, so I wanted to talk about that.
He was strong and tough. Good kid.
Now, Kenny, I ask everyone this, so don't take it personal. Who asked you bust to let you know you could play Division I basketball?
Division I?
When was that game that you said, you know what? I go D1.
You mean in high school?
Yeah, in high school.
You know, it's funny. My story is a little funny because, first of all, I wasn't really that confident. I wasn't confident until like the end of my junior year, going into my senior year. I wasn't really I was the type of player that if things started going a little wrong, my confidence would get rattled. That's why somebody like Henry Hamilton was always good in my ear. So going into my senior year, here's what happened. Coach Hartstein sent me to this camp. It might have been the ABCD camp, but I don't know if it was called that.
It was the AFB camp. It was called AFB back then.
Yeah, with all the top high school seniors.
Yes, AFB. Yeah.
In the area, the tri-state area, went to this camp to compete so they could be evaluated. Tom Konchowski was there. All these coaches were there. In that camp, I played well, and they rated me as having Division I talent. They said I had Division I talent after that camp. So I didn't even understand what Division I. At that time, I didn't really understand what the rankings meant and what they meant, because they had a book. Tom Konchowski, I think, used to make a book.
Hoop Scoop report. Hoop Scoop report.
Their strengths and weaknesses and their rankings and who was D1, who was like a D2, who's D3. So whatever he said in this book was it. Like, that was the law. And he determined from my play in this ABCD camp, whatever, I can't say, that I had Division I talent. So from that point, I felt like, well, maybe I have a shot to get a scholarship. But my grades were so shot, and that's a long story I got to talk about another time. Actually, I'm writing a book about it, but that's another thing. My grades were so shot that when the coaches found out that I wasn't going to be eligible, they backed away from me. Coaches were like, well, he's not going to play. Back then, you couldn't play if you didn't have a 70 average, I think it was GPA. My GPA was right below that. So they was like, he's not going to be eligible. So they backed away from me. So I thought I was going to have to go to junior college. So I was like, I'm going to go to junior college for 2 years, then I'm going to see if I can transfer. But St. Peter's University, then college, liked me so much that they said they would let me come there, sit out a year, get my grades together, and then they offered me a scholarship. So they was really the only school that was willing to take a chance on me. So even though I had Division I talent, a lot of schools was like, he's not going to be able to play, you know, because a lot of schools was coming there to see Silk and Damari. And I remember Coach Hartstein told me one time, he was like, you know, a few coaches have inquired about you after watching Lincoln play. And, you know, they came here to see Silk, but, you know, a few of them saw you and was like wondering what was up with you. But then when they heard you wasn't going to be eligible, you know, they was like, ah, what a shame, you know, this kid Parker, you know, move on. But St. Peter's was the school that decided to take a chance on me. So that was where I was headed from jump, because they was the only ones that was going to give me a shot. But long story short, when I went to the ABCD camp, I don't know who I played against, but whoever I played against, I did well enough in that camp to know that I was a Division I level player. But I didn't know I was going to be able to get a scholarship till later on.
Yeah, you also taught me, right, when you was young, when I was young, girl, that if you get your name in here, and yo, I swear to you, you see the little marker?
Yes.
My name was in the honorable mention section. Yo, and I had no way of getting, I wanted to show you so much, like, yo, I made it to Street Smith, where it was already my junior year, right? And it was just like everything. Coach sent me to BC, 5-star. You know, by the time you guys left, Coach was in, right? Mm-hmm. And respected. So he was able to send us a lot of places. And then it was good for me after I graduated and left prep school with the Phil Dickinson, was able to play against you.
I remember when we played you your freshman year. Because you had just come off a big game too.
I was player of the week, freshman of the week, and you know, I told you the story about my coach who ruined my confidence after that, and then transferred to another school, right? But then the damage was done because not only he would badmouth me, he would badmouth me to my coach. Only because I took his experience, you know, his playing spot, who was a senior.
That's you know, picking the right school is very, very important.
Yes.
For those out there who have a choice of schools to go to, you know, some people, you know, first of all, getting any scholarship is incredible. Like I said before, start there.
Yeah.
But big picture, from where we come from, if you can go to college for free, it's incredible. Start there. Now, for the rarefied air people who have choices of what school to go to, it's very important that you pick the school that's right style of play for you. And what I learned is, you know what you should do when you go on your visit? And they introduce you to the players. Find a dude that gets the least amount of run and talk to him. Talk to them. Don't talk to the stars. Don't talk to the dude that they assigned to you to walk you around. Because, you know, their job is to hype up the school. It happened to me. I did it to some other recruits coming up. You know, that's your job. You know, to show them around, show them a good time.
Get a couple of dollars.
Right. You know, and it's funny, the guy who showed me around St. Peter's was Kevin Boyle, who's now one of the biggest high school coaches in America.
That's right. Wow.
He was the point guard. I was assigned to him. He's the one that showed me around. That's my man. He's the one that showed me around and took me here and there and everything. But anyway, I say you have to find out a lot more about a school than just how it looks and their record, because you could be making the wrong decision for you if you have choices. And all the coaches, they're gonna all say, we'll make sure your son graduates, which is a lie. And he has an opportunity to do things here. He does have opportunity, but there's more to the story. There's a lot more to the story than what you get on your recruiting visits. But once you sign that letter of intent, you're there. And I learned at my experience at St. Peter's and your experience at FU, you could make a tough decision depending on what the coaches have agendas. You think the coach is just going to play the best players. Who can help us win the game? You think that that's what it's supposed to be, but there's so much other politics and other things going on. Who they recruited. If I recruit a guy and he gets to play and looks good, that helps my job. So I want my guy who I recruited to get played. So I'm going to be in the coach's ear saying, don't play Glenn, play my guy. Because that helps me. Forget the kid. There's a lot of that kind of stuff going on, little nuances that I didn't know. Most people wouldn't know that I would know now. I wish I could talk to some kid now. I'd be like, yo, make sure, there's a little questions that you have to ask. You know what I mean? Talk to the 12th man on the team. Ask him how's the experience, how's the coach, and look at his face. If he goes, well, you know that face?
Yo, that's so real.
That's
so real.
Well, because I heard that when I went to St. Peter. I talked to a couple guys that was like, well, coach yells a lot. But I'm like, I'm coming from Coach Hart's team who yelled a lot, so I could deal with that. But there's levels of yelling. There's yelling to teach you how to be a ball player, and there's disrespectful yelling too. I learned all of that in college. I'm digressing off into my own.
No, I went through the same thing with Tom Green. It was a moment during that year. We were called the baby boomers. We were in 15 games when we either lost or won by 3 points. And we was like in the middle of that or towards the end, and he was upset. Mind you, breath smelling like liquor. I noticed that real quick, and he started chewing everybody out. So, and he was getting personal and disrespectful. And I knew sooner or later it was coming to me, and I was just like, yo, if you think this is going to help us as a team, you wrong. Because you ain't doing nothing but hurting guys' feelings.
Right, and confidence.
Right. Some already know about. So, after experience that nonsense with Tiny Green, Lalonia, whatever his name is, I just said, I'm tired of this, man. I'm gonna say something. And he told me to get out of practice. And I told everybody, I said, if he kicked me out, we all leaving. Because if I leave, he gonna continue to abuse y'all. And everybody took up their jerseys, we left.
Wow.
That next day I became captain. Right?
Incredible story.
Yes. But he also told me about the business of basketball, which I never know. And I'll share this with you. Do you know about pay for wins?
I learned about it watching your show, watching your interview. I didn't know about this until you said it. And I had a funny story about you was talking about how much dudes got for stipend. But go ahead, because I got...
No, because that was going to be my next question, right? We talk about what do we get on the road, how much money we get on the road. And he was just so happy we was playing Wake Forest, and it was an $80,000 deal. And he was like, this is where upset comes from, because not only the school lose the game, they lose their money. And I was like, wow. And we in here starving, and y'all here get money for wins and losses?
I never knew that till you said it.
How much would you guys put DM on the road?
Let me. You said I saw you say that Gerald Green said they only got $5.
That was James Majors got $5 a game, and then Gerald said he got a little bit more once they went to the Final Four.
I only remember in 4 years getting money once. My freshman year, coach is Bob Duquette, rest his soul. The assistant, his assistant, a lady named Ann, had to beg him to give us money to eat. We went out to Florida. I think we played South Florida, University of South Florida. We was in Florida with nothing. The coach, she had to beg the coach to give us money to get something to eat. And he gave, I think we all got $16. All of us. And we went to Burger King, which was across the street from the hotel. That's the only time I remember getting money. What we would have is the whole team eats at one place. So like, we're in a city, it's like breakfast. We coming as a team, we're going to eat breakfast. We're coming as a team, we're going to eat lunch. As a team, we're going to go to a restaurant and eat dinner. We never had money in our hand. So when you said James Major said $5, I'm hating on James Major right now. Y'all got $5?
There was in the Big East. Yo, I feel like Dickinson, we got treated lovely. Our pockets was nice.
We was in
Mike
the
told me the reason why he left school because the coach wasn't feeding him and he was hungry. He said he went to coach and coach said he couldn't do anything for him, so Spice left school. Were you there that day?
I saw that interview, which you said. And Spice said, me and Spice was at St. Peter's together for a short period. Spice was only there a short period of time. And he said, I told KP we was going to go ask the coach for money, and Kenny was scary. That is the absolute truth. Spice came to me and was like, yo, and keep in mind, I had nothing, no money. Right. And I was sitting out, so we weren't on scholarship. I had like, was I a financial aid or food? I don't know what I had. I don't even think my Pell Grant came in yet. We had nothing. And Spice was like, I'm going to ask the coach for money. I was like, well, you go ahead and tell me what he says. Because I knew that was a bad decision. You know why? Because in fairness to the coach, in fairness, they weren't allowed to give us money. If
no, Division I, no.
Even I remember a newspaper reporter was covering us, and he said, "Wow, I was going to the Chinese store to get a half a chicken and fried rice by St. Peter's my freshman year, and a newspaper guy wanted to talk to me. He was like, let me walk with you. Let me get you your Chinese food while we talk." And I was like, "No." This was like $2.50 back then for a half a chicken, whatever it was. I was like, no, I was that scared to get in trouble. And I know that the Coach Duquette, couldn't give us money like that. So in fairness, I know he could have. Like Spice said, who's going to tell? You know, Spice was like, who's going to tell? But many a sad NCAA violation story starts with who's going to tell. So in fairness, we was hungry, but I don't know. I mean, looking at the coach and he's looking at his whole institution, I don't know if he could have gave Spice money. It's a touchy situation, but you know, I don't know if Spice left after that. That was, you know, because
and kind of changed the trajectory of his basketball career.
Absolutely, Spice would have definitely started at St. Peter's.
Yeah, he said he went to Brooklyn College, and then he had to sit out some, so he missed some really big games, and then he left Brooklyn College.
Remember that? Spice was a fantastic ball handler, man. Let me say it again. I've never seen Spice come close to getting ripped on the court. Forget a steal. I've never seen a person come close to stealing the ball from Spice. Not even close. Not in high school. Anyway.
What transition did you have to make once you joined the team?
Lincoln or college?
St. Peter's.
What adjustments?
Yes, yes.
Well, I got there, I was 6'5". I eventually grew to 6'6". But before Damari came to Lincoln, I was the tallest kid in the school. Then he came, so at 6'5", I was a tall high school player. When I got to college, there were 7 dudes on the team taller than me. I was in the middle of the pack. I went from like a center to like a small forward. And this is, they say, mid-major. At the mid-major level, I went from a center to a small forward. I had to learn to face up to the basket, moves that you could make in high school. They punching that out into the stands. You know what I'm saying? You beat a
Because
guy.
now we the same size, and I'm playing 2 guard.
Exactly. Exactly. You beat a guy in high school, you to the rim dunk. You beat a guy in college, there's a 6'9", 6'10" dude waiting for you. I had to make, it was a whole other adjustment. I had to change my whole game around from beginning to end to adjust to the college level. I mean, I made the adjustment, but it was tough because I was like what they call a tweener.
Yes, yes.
So, you know,
In college, in high school you was good, but in college, yes.
In college, 6'5" is nothing. 6'5" is nothing in college.
And Sean Williams was the definition of a tweener in high school. Yes,
absolutely. Absolutely. And that's a tough spot to be in. Because in college, this dude's 6'2", flying. Flying. Let me tell you something. D. Brown at Jacksonville gave us the business. D. Brown had 31 points against St. Peter. A dude you're not even thinking about. I saw D. Brown. I thought D. Brown was one of the illest dudes I've ever seen in my life in college.
Yo, he did the dunk like this against us.
Yo, he did.
He did that in the game. But I had the best of him that day. I think I had 18. I fouled him out in Jacksonville. But he was a hell of a player. I knew he was a pro.
I thought so too. When I saw him, he destroyed. Shout out to my man Jasper Walker, who played with me at St. Peter's.
Yes, yes.
Brown gave him everything he ever wanted in life. Shout out to my boy Jazz. I love you.
That's right. So when did the music kick in?
After college.
Okay. So what was the transition? Your brother pulled you in, or you were just like, can I get down? How did that work?
It's a gradual story. I'm going to tell a short version because I'm writing about it.
Yeah, I got you.
Crazy. My book is called My Brother's Name is Kenny. It's the name of my book. And I just want to say real quick, and I'm going through, I had a real, I'm going to say, unique childhood. And it's like the prequel to Boogie Down Productions. It's like everything leading up, because a lot of people, they know that, KRS-One was homeless. He met Scott LaRock in the shelter. They got together. They made Criminal Minded, and they lived happily ever after. There's a whole crazy story leading up to that most people don't know. Like, why was KRS-One homeless? What's the story? There's a whole story with me and him and what we went through growing up leading to that. So that's what my book is about. And then I tell all of these stories that you asked me. But to make a long story short, my brother blew up when I was in college.
Yes, yes.
And which changed my life. I mean, when he said my brother's name is Kenny, that's Kenny Parker, I was a regular college student one day, and the next day,
you was Kenny Parker.
Mobbed and people giving me demo tapes and madness. So my last year of college, he was in my ear going, yo, you need to come rock with us. You need to come rock with us. We out here. People might rock with you doing what? I didn't do nothing in music. Just come hang out. And I'm like, Chris, you bugging. I'm in college. This is my senior year. You bugging. So he's like, yeah. I started DJing right after college just because I wanted to make tapes. He had equipment in his house. I used to go to his house. He showed me how to work the equipment. I was making tapes for my Walkman. That's it. It just so happens, D Nice, shout out to my man D Nice, the biggest DJ in America right now. Wow.
That's right. That's right.
D Nice was going solo. And BDP needed a DJ. Right as I was learning how to DJ. Almost like the stars lined up.
Yep.
And it was actually D Nice who suggested to my brother, you should get your brother. And things happened, and eventually he did, and that's how I slid into music. It was almost a fluke. I wasn't even thinking about being in the music business. It just so happened that I started DJing, and my brother needed a DJ. He brought me in, bang, 30 years later. I've been DJing professionally since then.
And then I'm in college, and we watching videos, and rest in peace, Biz Mark's song, Just a Friend, comes on. And I'm going, yo, that's my dude, yo. And the rest was history, man.
I was in that video,
Great.
friends. A lot of people don't know that I'm sitting on the bench with Biz. That's my dude. I love you, Biz. Rest in peace till we meet again.
Yes. Great guy.
One of my good friends.
So I'll tell you a quick story real quick. During this time, I'm the college DJ at Fairleigh Dickinson.
I remember that.
All right? So a lot of people used to come. You know, the rink was right down the block.
The rink.
So all of hip-hop was at my school. When I'm talking about all of hip-hop from Redhead Kingpin, Teddy Riley, all of those guys.
Redhead Kingpin. You just broke.
Yes.
Yeah, that's my dude.
K9 Posse, Eddie Murphy and them brothers, right? Because he went to the school. Both of them went to the school. So that was my intro into the music. And then I come home and my guy A.B. Money, Easy Mo B, is doing Miles Davis' last album. And then Flavor in Your Ear and Biggie and all those. So that was my connection to the music. That's how I got in. Because it was like, yo, G, what you want to do? So it's crazy how both our lives kind of, a lot of these things.
I came to see you a couple times when you was in college, just my senior year. I remember coming up there, y'all had the dope parties, man. My school, St. Peter's, we didn't have no good parties. FDU, they said FDU was on fire. Y'all had the crazy parties.
We had one of the top party schools in the country, and we had a club right now, Student Union building. So it was just on and popping. I remember Silk came up when they was in the playing against Duke. Him and Big, they got tore up at our club. Then he went, next day had 27 against Duke. It's like, how do you do it?
Yo, when Silk had that run, when Rhode Island had that run, yo, I was home going crazy. I was tearing up my whole dorm room watching my boy Silk. And I'm like, that's Silk that we know.
He was killing.
To see this.
Yes.
He destroyed Syracuse, murdered Duke, all these
murdered Sherman Douglas. Yes.
And I'm like, that's regular Silk to me.
Yeah.
I've been watching that since his sophomore year. Y'all just seeing the Silk that I know. That's how I was.
Facts. So now I'm gonna bring you back when you do the book, man. Definitely gotta come back.
Oh,
because I want to hear the rest of those stories. Definitely going to get the book and promote it for you as well.
Let's go.
So, now we're going to do our top five. All right? Your top 5 DJs, hip-hop history.
I'm going to start with Grandmaster Flash because he's the one who innovated the game. DJing as we know it was created by him. Kool Herc invented hip hop. But DJing as we know it was created by Grandmaster Flash. Without him, none of this would be here. So he's one of my heroes, and I'm going to start with Grandmaster Flash as the bedrock, the foundation of it all. As far as cutting and scratching and all the turntable tricks, DJ Scratch is the best I've ever seen. Because I seen him do it in gigantic arenas. I seen him do it in little clubs. I seen him do it all over on TV, everywhere. As far as cutting and scratching and technical ability and showmanship, he's the best I've ever seen. I'm gonna go with 2. That's 2. As far as rocking a party, Kid Capri is the best I've ever seen.
Yes, definitely.
As far as rocking a show, and he's like family to me, but as far as rocking a show, he's the best I've ever seen. And I've seen everyone. When I'm speaking to you, keep in mind, I've seen everyone, and these are all my friends. I've seen them all. I've DJed with them.
Right.
As a person who, I'm not going to say they're my peers. I can never be a peer with Grandmaster Flash. But like Scratch, he DJed for EPMD. I DJed for BDP. We both started at the same time. Kid Capri, all these people, these like my peers. I'm not saying I'm better than them. I'm not. But,
no, it's real. Yeah.
But as peers, these are my guys. So those 3, Flash, Scratch, Kid Capri, that's 3. I'm going to say as far as DJing for a group, you got to go Jam Master Jay. He is the
Jam Master Jay. Rest in peace.
He is the guy who we all pattern. He's the first DJ anyone ever saw.
Yes.
As great as Flash was, nobody saw Flash. I mean, unless you lived in the Bronx, you never saw Flash. Even when they did The Message, Flash was in there, but there was no cut, and he was there, frozen. Jam Master Jay is the first dude we all saw. Jam Master Jay, Gun DMC. So I'm going to put him at 4. This is tough because I got like 2, but I'm going to go 5. I'm going to go Jazzy Jeff for the all-around. He's everything. He has
he
all
can do the scratching, party mix. Yes, he can do it all.
DJ for Will Smith. He's big. I'm going him as the overall.
Gotcha.
And I'm gonna slide in a 5A, an asterisk 5, because the best on record is Premier. As far as cutting those hooks and cutting on a song, I'm gonna go with DJ Premier. He's not in my 5, but he's 6. He's not even 6. He's 5A, 5B, or something. That's
DJ Premier said he got that from Marley Marl.
He's in my top 5 producers of all time, Marley Marl. Actually, he might be in my top 3, but yes.
Definitely. I was watching this interview today. All right. Now, who are your top 5 New York City basketball players of all time?
See, that's tough because I can only go by who I saw.
That's all I'm asking.
Because, like somebody like Stephon Marbury is definitely up there, but I never saw Steph. He was too. I mean, I saw him on TV. I never saw him. Like for me, Juju. Remember Juju, his brother?
Yes.
Juju was a little homeboy. I remember Juju at halftime. He used to be shooting around.
Yeah.
come out. I used to like block his shot. Get out of here, Juju. You know, like I used to like mess with him. He's like a little kid. And Steph is younger than him.
And Steph
So,
used to come around when we was, you know,
right.
coming of age. So
Right.
it was crazy watching all of them grow up.
Juju. So I'm gonna go by who I saw. Pearl. Of course, Lloyd Daniels, because I got him up close and personal. Actually, I got both of them up close and real personal.
Facts, facts, facts.
That's two. Because I'm really talking about my era, because these are the people I saw in my era.
Yeah.
Those two. John Johnson. Silk. This is tough because I don't want to take out Ed Davender because he was All-American when I was in high school. But is he the best?
I never thought he was better than Silk.
I
never thought he was better than James Majors. I watched him play, and after the Wheelchair Classic, his display, I was just like,
you know what? On that note, you said James Majors, who was a great player. I got a funny story about him, by the way. Mark Jackson gave us the business my junior year. My junior year, we played Bishop Loughlin, and we're in the locker room, and some dude who I had seen him play in Citywide, so I recognize this light-skinned dude, walks past us and goes, "Good luck, fellas." He had his sneakers still in his hand. He said, "Good luck, fellas." We said, "Peace." You know, good luck. And when that game started, Mark Jackson gave us everything. The score was 16-1 at the end of the first quarter. Loughlin 16, Lincoln 1. Mark Jackson probably had 14. It was him and them Wheeler boys. I'm gonna shout out them Wheeler.
Yeah, the Wheeler brothers. Damn.
Yeah, them. So
they won the state championship that year, didn't they?
They might have. Bishop Loughlin.
Yeah, they beat Billy Donovan and them. St. Agnes.
I'm gonna go Mark Jackson, Pearl, Lloyd Daniels, John Johnson, and Silk are the 5 best players that I saw when I was in high school, off the top of my head. I'm trying to think. That might be my 5, who I saw in high school. Boom.
All right, last thing before we get out of here, Kenny. I said I want to discuss this. You was live and direct right there, watching your brother and my hip-hop idol, Big Daddy Kane, go at it on verses.
I was right.
How was it being there? Now, I watched it 3 times and then taped it, and I'm going to do a react video to it because I'm still hooked to this verses, and I can't even get off it.
Do we got time?
There's no go ahead, brother. It's all, I'm going to let you rock out.
There's a little bit of behind the scenes, and there was some chess moves going on in this. Okay, Kima, I was backstage, and I said I don't like watching concerts from backstage because you don't really get a full feel of the concert. You can't hear the music right, you can't see the artist right. So I came out, and I was right next to the stage. It would be to the right. I was standing next to AZ from Brooklyn, AZ with
Yes.
standing right in front of me. So now I'm watching 2 masters play a chess move. So here's what I saw. And there's a couple of things that people say I was kind of bugging out, like, y'all don't even know what y'all talking about. But, okay. I think Kane's approach, well, it's supposed to be verses. It's supposed to be songs for songs. Your 20 best songs and my 20 best songs. They cut it down to 15 and 15. So Chris's narrative was, no one could go with me song for song. My catalog is too deep.
Right.
That's the narrative. So now, in order for Kane to compete with that, Kane would have to move the narrative. So Kane says, I'm going to freestyle, and let's freestyle and do some more freestyle. I'm going to have a DJ battle and all of this, and move it to more into showmanship and see, compete with KRS in showmanship, which he absolutely is a master King. So as you notice, during the battle, when Scratch and Kid Capri got into it, which was ugly,
was very, very, very distasteful.
And I heard that there's some misunderstandings that happened. I know both of them very well. Hung out with them, worked with them, known them for 30 years, both of them. But something was wrong there. Because I've heard Kid Capri say on numerous occasions, I'm not a battle rapper. I'm not a battle dude. I stay in my I'm gonna stay in not my lane. So I cannot believe that he signed up to battle the one guy who nobody should be battling, which is Scratch. So Scratch was saying that they were supposed to have a DJ battle. I don't think Kid Capri got the memo. I don't know if Chris didn't tell him or something was wrong there, because Capri was very rattled by that. Okay, when Scratch did, I'm going to play Jason, I'm going to play Jason, I'm going to play Jason, that routine, then Kane said, what you got for that, Kid Capri? So he was trying to make it into that, and then he's like, let's freestyle too. So Chris saw this. That's chess move number one. Kane is like, I'm going to make this into a freestyle. Chris says, no, fuck that. This is called verses. This is about songs. They running out of songs.
I remember that.
So he tried, his chess move was, no, I'm not going to let you make this about Kid Capri and them and who would freestyle. Songs. Put on more songs. They run out of songs. So that was the chess move between them that most people, I don't think, was paying attention to.
I paid attention to that, yeah.
I saw people say, oh, KRS was scared to freestyle with Kane. I'm like, if anybody knows KRS, all he do in his show is freestyle. I be wanting him to do more songs.
Right.
So, but that wasn't it. Chris was like, no, I'm not going to let Kane change the narrative. And Kane was like, no, I'm going to change this narrative because I don't want it to be just song for song. Okay, so I peeped that. Then some people were saying that Kane won because Chris was not finishing his songs and he was rhyming to the crowd. He was letting the crowd finish his song. Now, I was there. The crowd was singing every word to his songs. So the style is, if you see the crowd singing every word, you rock with them. Sing along. Chris is saying, I want to show the world how deep my catalog is. Look at everybody singing my shit. What you got for that, Kane? But I guess people watching it, I don't know if they couldn't hear the crowd or they couldn't understand it. So they're saying, well, some people, not everybody, but some people are saying, well, Chris was tired because he was letting the audience finish his rhymes. He was tired. And I'm like, nah, that was the style. That's the style. Let people sing. But for some people said that, so I'm like, I don't know about that narrative. But
if you know hip hop, that's KRS One's stage show. Kane wants to say every word.
Right.
That's the difference. That's the difference between him and Chris. Kane wants to say every last word.
That's his style. So I'm trying to say, because first of all, I don't like a winner and a loser. Let me say this too, by the way.
Right.
Versus has morphed from what it was when it first started into something else. It started with two friendly people getting together. You play your songs, my songs. We tell the backstory. I tell you songs I liked from you that I think you should throw on. It was dope. All the way leading up to the Isley Brothers and and Earth, Wind and Fire. Then Fat Joe, and I told Fat Joe this the other day. He switched the narrative because when he had an interview with Chris and he started saying, "Yo, what's up with you and LL?" And Chris is like, "What? LL? He can't match me, catalog for catalog." You know how Chris is. Catalog for catalog. And it started making it into like not a battle, but a competition.
And then when the Locks and Dipset thing happened,
that turned it completely into a battle, and it has to be a winner and it has to be a loser. Now, based on that, from what I saw, now I didn't watch the video feed, I watched there. Based on song for song, I can't even see how Kane was even really close to KRS-One song for song, because Chris was doing song and Kane was doing freestyles. Like, I don't see how that's even in the same realm. But for some people, they was like, well, Kane seemed more polished and clearer. So I'm like, well, is clearer the criteria now? Like, they just moved the goalposts. Because it's clearer the criteria for who wins versus who was clearer. Because if I throw on, no disrespect, but if I throw on Step Into a World and you throw on a freestyle, how, even if your freestyle was clearer, how did you win that? I don't really see how that wins, but to some people that was the win. So whatever.
It's the competition. Right. It's the competition thing. And I think when we go back to bring this back to basketball, that's the reason why James Naismith left Kansas University. He invented the game of basketball. Kansas University hired him, and then he quit because it turned into competition.
Well, I mean, sports is competition. I understand that. I just don't understand the rules. Because if you say someone has to win and someone has to lose, it's so subjective. Because there's no ref in this verses. There's no ref. There's no scorecard. There's no rules to say. It's just what you think. And if I'm from Brooklyn and I like Kane, I don't give a fuck. It's Kane. And the Bronx is like, I don't give a fuck. It's Kara. Like, so I can't really see how that could be a winner and loser. But I think song for song, KRS has to win. And I think if you like technical, if you thought technical is what it was, then you're going to go for Kane. Cool. But now it's becoming a problem because if you know, I was talking to Buster at that event, and he was like 5 people they tried to match him with, and all 5 declined. Because now no one wants to lose, and no one wants to go up against a person like Buster, who's like Chris. He's going to be like, he's going to be animated. He has a lot of songs people know. So now we're going to miss out. The fans are going to miss out on some great verses because now people are scared. Nobody wants to do Buster. And I think they're talking about Missy. Maybe Missy might do it or something. But now there's a lot of people that we're going to miss out because now it's this winner and loser thing. I mean, it's good for the culture. I mean, I understand.
But if it's a battle,
right? Are we really?
But if it's a versus, because that versus machine could lose steam real quick if it turns into that.
Yes, but it's in arenas. There's so much money, the sponsorship and the viewers.
Nobody wants to lose. Nobody wants to lose on that big of a stage.
So now it's going to be very difficult. Because Chris told me that it was supposed to be Kane and Rakim. And
I knew Rakim was never going to agree to that.
Rakim declined. So then they said, KRS-One, do you want to do it? Of course, Chris is like, yeah, let's go. But, right, his attitude is always that. But the fact that Rakim declined is whack. Not for Rakim, but the fact that because Rakim is probably, I don't know what he's thinking, but he's probably saying, I don't want to get in some lyrical stage battle with Kane. But if you look at versus the way it was last year, that would have been dope. Kane,
Wreck it for record. Wreck it for
record,
record.
backstory, you know.
Yeah.
And Kane
Yeah.
said, "Yo, I always liked Paid in Full. That was my shit." And Rakim said, "Yo, I always liked one." You know, it was more of a brotherhood. That would have been dope. But now dudes are gonna be declining, so I think we're gonna miss a lot of the dope, what could have been dope shows because it's a competition thing. But it is what it is.
Like I said, the more money get involved, the more things change, and it takes away the authenticity of the craft.
Ridiculous. Now, it's in the Barclays Center, it's in the Garden, and that's just to pay people. The real money's in the sponsorship because millions of people are going to watch these things. Shout out to Swiss Beats, shout out to Timberland. They are doing it. They created something that wasn't there before, a platform, and they're doing fantastic with it. Shout to them, and it's dope, and it's gonna go. But I'm not like I said, I'm not a dog. You know what I'm saying? So I don't be like, yo, these two people get blood sport. That one that somebody has to die. I'm not that.
That don't last too long. That don't last too long.
Right. And I'm already, like I said, I'm already seeing it with Buster. Nobody wants to do Buster because it's just not gonna be. And the money is gonna be big, but if you look at some of these people that have multi-millionaires, like say you want Jay and Nas, which would be, would they do it? You can't even.
I don't think that's ever gonna happen.
They got so much money that you can't offer them money.
Yeah.
So I mean, and a lot of these artists are multimillionaires. What are you gonna really offer them that's gonna make them put their legacy on the line? That's just my
incentive like that, right?
That's just my opinion. I could be wrong. I don't even see the comments. People could be thinking I'm bugging right now.
No, that's real.
That's just my take on it. But it was dope.
Hold on for a sec, Kate. Yo, did you send a picture?
Yo, I'm just finishing it up, man.
Oh, all right. So if you just not finishing up, you can bring it in and show me if you want. That'll be dope. Cause we're about to sign off.
Oh, well, I ain't that finished. I'm like, yeah, I ain't that finished to show him. I can send it to you like in 20 minutes. All
right, he gonna send it. He gonna send it after he finishes. He said he's still working on it. All right, just send it, and I'll send it to him afterwards.
All right, cool.
Thank you. Yeah, Kay?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he said he's still working on it. So like 15 minutes, he'll have it, and I'm gonna send that to you. Man, listen, now you have the opportunity to nominate someone else to be on the show.
Even somebody I don't know?
Even if it's somebody you don't know? If that's what you feel, so listen, I know who you have. I know my time has not come yet for that level. But I would love to get Fat Joe on the show because I know he coached Rucker. And I only want to talk basketball, right? To these dudes. Said G, I need to find out what the hell happened at
Said G is
Ben Franklin.
I played basketball with Said G from Ultramagnetic. Yo, he's nice.
Yep.
Nice.
Again, I heard this and I was like, what? Kenny Hutchinson told me the whole story.
Shout out to Kenny Hutchinson.
Yes, brother. But you get a chance to nominate someone to be on the show. This is how we do it. And we got 8 more shows.
I'm gonna tell you a 2-minute story about my nomination.
No, I ain't going nowhere. It's too early for me.
I'm playing citywide my senior year, out in the park, summertime tournament, and we lost to Riverside in the semifinals. Cool. The next game after our game, the other semifinal, Sylvan was playing. Sil, Spice, Damari was playing some team. So I'm like, I'm gonna chill and watch their game. They had a guy on their team named Mouse.
Mousy McFadden. Yes.
Let me tell you something. He never played high school basketball. This dude, now, y'all, we've been sitting here talking about how nice Silk and Spice was in this whole time. In this game that I was outside watching, this guy, Mouse McFadden, was the baddest dude in the whole park. He destroyed this other team. And everybody knew who he was. They was going, Mouse, Mouse, Mouse. Like, I'm like, and he looked like a little mouse, too, which made it funny. Mouse, Mouse, Mouse. I'm like, who the hell is this dude, Mouse? Like, I know everybody in high school. He's not in no team. He's not on no team. This dude was incredible. Then years later, he made that run at Cleveland State when they beat David Robinson and all that, and America got to see how nice this dude was. I think he's from Harlem. I don't know where Mouse McFadden is from.
I have no idea. But you know who did a Mouse McFadden and took it to the next level? Jamel Tinsley.
Ah, right. Came out.
Didn't play high school ball, played summer ball, wound up at Iowa State, they get drafted.
Well, I thought Tinsley went to Grady.
Nope. He didn't play high school ball at all.
If I could get a guy on your show, if anyone out there could find Mouse McFadden,
yes,
I would love to see that.
That would be dope. I think he's coaching. He's still out in Cleveland. I know that. So we're gonna work on magic online to make it happen.
I don't know him from Adam, but that day I was amazed at this dude. I would love to see Mouse McFadden.
That's dope. We're gonna work on that. I'm gonna call Silk tomorrow. Matter of fact, I may call Silk right after we get out of here and see can we make that happen.
Dope.
Appreciate that, brother. Well, listen. You coming back for sure. It took us a year. It took us a year to get here. We ain't gonna wait for another year. We wait for that book to come out. We're gonna do this again.
Oh, the book is coming out. I'm trying to get it out in a few months, and then I'm gonna give you a copy. And I'm gonna talk, because then we can really get into the hip hop. And
definitely.
Days and days and days. I've seen a lot of stuff.
I can imagine, brother. I can imagine.
Being right
and still, and the good thing is, you still look good. Like it ain't the world ain't beat you up. It's like you're getting younger.
Brother, you too, man. I appreciate it. Love, man. Always.
Appreciate you, brother. Thank you, man. I love you, man.
Lincoln forever.
Always. Salute. Yes.
Yes.
Thank you for joining us tonight. Wanted to say big salute to my guy, Kenny Parker. Meant a lot that he was on the show tonight. Get to chop it up. Talk about the history. Abraham Lincoln. You know how we do. Real splendors for life. Want to send a big shout out to all my basketball heads out there. Stuck around with us 2.5 hours. It's crazy, right? That's what we do. It's that brotherhood. We getting out of here. I want to say peace to basketball world, the whole New York City. I'm your host, Glenn Pooh Harding. You've been watching Basketball Heads Live. We are the official home for New York City basketball. Peace.
Y'all ready? Y'all ready?